Hello and welcome to the Tank Club. Today we're going to be doing a complete beginner's guide for the brand new MMORPG Ravendawn. We're just going to go over all the details, all the information you need to know to get started in this game. Now, Ravendawn is a free-to-play top-down MMORPG focused on dynamic world building, community, deep character customization, and a player-driven world above all else. Ravendawn brings everything that makes an MMORPG special, with a focus on player freedom and player community. So to get started, you're going to firstly need to go to the Ravendawn website to start playing. Fill out the form, including my referral code, TC_Lee13, and then you can get started. By using my code, you should get yourself 3 days of free Patreon and a companion pet as well. Ravendawn is only available on Windows, and you can download the client from your account page. Once you've created your account, the game can be played in both English or Portuguese. Ravendawn is a free-to-play MMORPG which runs on an optional subscription, also known as Patron, where you'll gain various benefits such as chat badges, chat colour, faster login, reduced marketplace fees, free travel, as well as additional quests and XP related benefits. Once you've downloaded and installed the game, launch Ravendawn and log in, you can now create your first character. With your character's physical appearance, you can only select male or female when creating the character. Later, customization becomes available in-game, where you can change your outfit and the colour sections of your outfit and your hair. To do this, you need to press X and go onto the character menu and then go onto customization. On launch, the game has 8 archetypes, and you need to initially pick one archetype when creating your character. You've got Holy, which utilises white magic for healing and smiting enemies with Holy Force. This is very much a healer class. You've got Spiritual, which employs red magic to aid allies with barriers, speed, and mana replenishment. This is like a support role kind of class. You've got Witchcraft, which does blue magic, uses exploit enemies' weaknesses and mix powers. So this is more of a debuffing kind of class with magic damage as well. Warfare focuses on brute force and self-healing through bloodshed. It also has a lot of AoE and crowd control. Shadow specialises in stealth, toxins, deception, and lethal strikes. Protection is the tank class, which defends allies, leads charge, and unbreakable spirit. It's got all those defensive benefits in there. Archery excels in range combat with speed and disengaging abilities. We've got Wizardry that harnesses elemental magic, especially frost and fire, for AoE attacks. As you progress through Ravendawn, you'll unlock a second and third archetype. By level 15, you'll have 3 different archetypes selected, which will determine which of the 56 different main classes your character becomes. You can change your archetype at level 15, so you can just press on a different archetype, it will switch it over. But do bear in mind that you will unlock your second archetype at level 7. This will give you a second archetype that's level 7. At level 15, you'll get a third archetype, which will make them all level 13. If you then select a different one, that will start off again at level 1, so you'll have to re-level the whole archetype. So it is better to kind of find some that you like to start with and just stick with them, because they'll already be kind of a bit pre-leveled, whereas if you change it, you will have to level it all over again. Once you have your character, you can start your journey in Ravendawn. As you begin the game, you'll start off in a main story quest tutorial at your parents' home on a little island. You need to advance through this to reach the main content of the game, but this is designed to be a tutorial area. Moving your character in the game is done by pressing W, A, S, and D. You can move diagonally by pressing 2 movement keys at the same time, such as holding W and A will move you diagonally southwest. You can also move in the game by pressing on the floor, so you can point and click. This may need to be turned on in your settings. Press O, go to MISC, and turn point and click on. There are not any camera controls in Ravendawn, since this game has a specific top-down view overlooking your nearby vicinity. You cannot change the look of the camera. To fight enemies, you need to right-click on them or press Tab. You can also press them on the battle list, and then you will begin to auto-attack them. But you'll need to now hit enemies with your abilities by pressing hotkeys, which we're going to cover in a moment. The base overlay of the game includes the chat window at the side, where you've got various different chat boxes. It is possible to edit your UI by pressing O to go to your settings. When you go down to Windows and you press Edit UI, this turns on all the movable UI objects, which you can then move around to suit your needs. There are your health and mana bars at the top of the screen. This information can also be seen above the top of your character's head, but not quite as informative. You have an enemy list to the middle left, which becomes more visible when you are in contact with enemies, this can be adjusted by selecting what type of things you want to see in here. So you can press whether you want to see players or not. You can also select what type of enemies you want to see, and then you can arrange those as well by different type, whether it's the distance, whether it's their health, name or level. You'll also see your current level and experience bar at the bottom of the screen beneath your ability bar. In the bottom right of the screen is your menus and utilities, which can be closed by pressing the Ravendawn symbol. If you look across these icons, there's a lot of information here. So you've got your character screen, which will show you all your character stats, your equipment, and your outfits and customization. You've got your inventory, which shows everything that you're carrying. Infusions, which is upgrading your weapons and your gear. Ravencards with your collection. This is the Ravencards that you possess and the Ravencards that you haven't yet opened. And these will be talked about in a little while. You've got your Archetype, where you can see what Archetype you currently are and also the level of all your different Archetypes. Professions is all of your different crafting and gathering skill lines. Reputation shows your current reputation, skills that you own, and the amount of points you've got. Transport shows your current methods of transport that are available. Your map is obviously the whole world map for Ravendawn. Quest is your current active quest, but also your completed quests, where you can gather more information. Rangers Company shows your current buffs gained by doing Rangers Company missions. The Tradepack list is a list of things that you need to collect for each Tradepack, so you know what you need to gather. Your journal shows you all your different artifacts. You've got your guild list, your social list of friends, party members and mail, your current tutorial that's active, the Ravendawn store, and finally your settings. Now in the top corner you've got your minimap, and there's actually a lot of information packed into this minimap as well. So your minimap can be zoomed in and out by rolling your middle mouse key. You've obviously got the current zone that you're in here and the current time. Now the first icon here is your PvP mode, and you can change this to be more offensive, defensive or peaceful if you don't want to be attacked. You've got your house toggle mode. This is for both editing your land, your house and your farm. Your battle list is to turn your battle list on and off if you don't want this on your screen. Toggle quest tracker, again to hide or keep your quests there. You can zoom in or out by pressing instead of rolling the middle mouse. You've got your teleport to Ravencrest. Now this is really important. This has got a 4-hour cooldown and you can just automatically teleport straight to the main city at any moment as long as you're not in combat. And then finally you've got your channel selector. Now this is a real top tip. So one of the more important things here is your active channel. This is your current instance that you are in on the server. And there are multiple channels, as you can see, which prevent overcrowding. And you may need to change your channel if you're in an area that is too busy, or you're looking to join your friends who might be in a different channel. Simply look at the minimap in the top corner and look for a number, press on it, click it to open the menu, and then you just press on one and you can press join channel and this will switch you over. Select the channel you want to join, press it, and this will only work when you are in a protection zone such as the main city of Ravencrest. You will also notice here there is a war mode channel for people who want a more PvP orientated map. The purple thing in the middle of your hotbar is your Aether, and this is required for using some of your abilities. Finally, for your UI, you've got your ability bar at the bottom and all your hotkeys. To add a skill here, you'll need to learn skills in your Archetype tree. Once you learn a skill, it will automatically go onto your hotbar. However, if one of them is taken off, you just double click it and it will go straight back on. To learn an ability, you just need to press K on your keyboard and then select the ability you would like to learn. You do have to remember that there are certain limitations because you will need skill points, and skill points are earned by leveling up your character. And once you do have an ability on your hotbar, you just press left click to pick it up and you can drag it to a position of your choice. If you did want to edit the hotkeys for your abilities, you just need to press right click on a specific location and press edit hotkey. You can then apply a different hotkey. You have to change which hotkey you want to use, and that is the way that you change it. Now you do need to be careful when you change hotkeys because there is no hotkey menu in the settings. So there's a chance that if you unbind a key, you might not be able to reassign it. There's no way to re-add something. So let's say you use K for whatever reason, you won't be able to reassign K to your Archetype. In Ravendawn, you have both your legacy level, which is your overall level, which will determine your available quests and the kind of gear you can wear. And then you have the level for each individual Archetype. You've also got your effective level, which is a combination of your 3 Archetypes level on average. you are able to switch and level up all 8 archetypes, which will be beneficial later in the game for the additional skill points. To access your inventory, you need to press I on your keyboard, and that will open up your inventory. This is where you hold all the items you've gathered from quests and killing enemies. To access your equipment, you have to press X on your keyboard, and that will bring up your character menu, and then you go to the equipment tab. To equip gear, you just need to click on it. When you have gear in your inventory, all you have to do is click on it once with right click, and that will go into the slot. If I press on a different helmet, that'll just switch it over. So you just one click with right click to equip your gear. There are multiple different armor types in Ravendawn. You've got plate armor, leather armor, and cloth armor. Equipping 2 pieces or 4 pieces of each armor type will give you additional character bonuses. Plate gives you increased health, healing received, and weapon defense. Leather increases crit chance and reduces crowd control effect duration on you. And light increases attack speed, spell defense, and reduces cast times. Gear in the game has no level caps, but if you wear gear that is too high for your level, you will temporarily lose some of the stat benefits of that gear until you are high enough to wield it at its full strength. Now, gear has 6 tiers, 1 being the worst and containing no attributes. So as you can see here, I'm wearing tier 1 gear and there's no additional benefits on there. It's just a base for defense and that is it. Now, the higher tier gear that you go, you will get additional attributes and stats on there that will buff up your character. All gear in the game can be crafted by players, so as long as you learn your different crafts, you'll be able to craft the best gear that's available. Alongside that, you have gear grades, and gear is graded 1 to 9. This is identified by the border around the item. Higher tiers will have higher attack points and defense points, attributes and substats, and the strongest items in the game would effectively be a tier 6 grade 9 item. And as you can see here, like this item here has now got a blue border around it, so it's a slightly higher grade, and it's got 4 defense. If we look at this one, this has got 5 defense because this has got the purple border. Obviously, this is quite low level gear. It's tier 1, but as you can see the point anyway, it's just got that increased benefit because of that higher grade. You've also got your character stat screen, which you access by pressing X. Upon leveling up, you will receive 2 points that you can distribute into your stats of vitality, might, intelligence, dexterity, and wisdom. You want to try and match these choices towards the weapon and ability types you're using. So as you can see here, I've put 5 points into vitality for max health, health regen, spell defense, and weapon defense. I've used might for weapon power and weapon defense because I'm using a 2-handed weapon. And then I've not got anything in intelligence for spell power and healing power. I don't have anything for haste, spell defense, and weapon defense. And I don't have anything for spell defense, mana regen, max mana, and healing power. You've also got the major stats underneath here. So based upon everything that we've got equipped, our skills, our passives, and everything, you can scroll down here to see exactly what we're doing. So you can see that is our base value, our bonus value, and then our total value. So we're able to hit 96 weapon power in total. And you can look at all of your major stats here and all the different things that are going to affect your character. So mana is the blue bar that's above your character and in the top corner. This is needed to cast magic abilities. Health is the red bar above your head, and on the top left as well, it shows how much remaining health you have, and some abilities will also cost health to use. So the attack power over here shows your current total attack power, also known as AP, and you've got defensive power underneath as well, your DP. Experience is gained in a number of ways, but usually by killing enemies and completing quests around the entire world of Ravendawn. The game has a soft cap of level 75. Once you hit this legacy level, the amount of experience needed for more levels will drastically increase. There is no hard cap in the game, so players can keep progressing their character, but it will just take a much more significant amount of time with very minimal additional benefits. Next, we're going to look at Ravencards, and you need to press G on your keyboard to access this menu. Ravencards are a system in the game which allows you to collect cards and equip them to your abilities to modify your abilities, usually adding additional functionality to a skill to make it stronger. Each ability has 2 potential Ravencard options. If we press K, this goes to our Archetype screen, and at the bottom here you've got this little tab which says skills and cards. Now if you press it across, we can now see our cards here. So we've got 2 possible options for a card, and I've currently got this one, so increases the healing of Brutal Strike, and it's able to be equipped, so I can equip that to there. If I then want to go off that to go back to the skills, we just press the slider across, and this is on the K skill tree menu. If we go back to the Ravencard menu, you can obtain each card in one of 7 rarities. And the rarer the card, the more powerful the modification it adds. So all of the ones I've got here are quite basic. This one here is a grand card, so it's got a much higher value than if it was a common or an uncommon. So we've got a real nice one there. Cards can be obtained from Raven packs. So if we look here, we've got some Raven packs which can be opened. And Raven packs are earned from Twitch drops or trading Dawn Essence. You also get Dawn Essence, which can be used to buy Raven cards, and you gain Dawn Essence by leveling up via the North Star Quest missions. And then when you want to buy Raven cards, you need to go onto the Raven store and go down to Raven packs, and it will cost 300 to buy a pack. So you just need to purchase it with your Dawn Essence that you get from leveling up. When you get a duplicate Raven card, you'll receive Raven shards, which can be used to upgrade the rarity of existing cards. So if you wanted to make your cards stronger, as you can see, this is the rarity level here. So if we wanted to upgrade, let's say common to uncommon, we can then upgrade it by pressing on the side menu just here, and it will show you the amount needed. So we need 60 in total, and then we can press to upgrade that card. Looking at the reputation menu, you press H on your keyboard to access this. And when doing quests and speaking to NPCs in Ravendawn, you'll sometimes be given 3 dialogue options. These will determine your reputation, either order, mercenary, or criminal. You'll enable different options in the game based upon your reputation, including NPCs that will give you access to enchantments to improve your gear. You'll also earn reputation points, which you can spend on the reputation screen. This will allow you to purchase a range of character buffs and benefits that affect combat, economy, movement, crafting, and more. Ravendawn's combat is a tab target tile combat system. To attack enemies in Ravendawn, you need to right click on them to begin auto attacking, or use tab. You then need to use abilities to inflict more damage, or protect and heal yourself, or apply crowd control to enemies. You can also turn on quick targeting from your settings. Now you are able to do melee combat in this game, which means you are up close and personal with the enemy, so you have to be really close and you have no range. You have to be right next to them to cause damage and inflict damage to those enemies. You've also got magic and range combat, which means you can spend a bit more time further away from enemies. Range combat does have a lot of benefits, especially at the start of the game here where there's a lot of players, and being able to hit things from range means you'll be able to complete certain quests easier when you can't quite push through and get close to enemies. Now to do different skills and abilities to enemies, you need to press K on your keyboard to access your skills and abilities menu. With the archetype and class system, you can use a variety of skills and passives to create your perfect playstyle. You need to increase the level of each archetype, and then you can purchase skills with skill points to use with your character. Stronger skills require more skill points to unlock them. So as you can see here, if I wanted to buy this one now, it's going to require 5 skill points, whereas this one only cost me 1 skill point. And you can combine using different skills from different archetypes. As you can see on my bar here, I've got Brutal Strike, which is my warfare skill, and I've also got Bash, which is my protection skill. You've also got passive benefits, and for every 5 skill points you spend in one archetype, this allows you to be able to buy a passive ability which costs 3 skill points and gives your character a range of benefits. So because I've spent more than 5 skill points in my warfare, I've been able to purchase Bloodbath as a passive. Passives are very, very strong because they will give you a range of character benefits, which will usually be permanent buffs or circumstantial or auto-activating kind of effects. And they can be really, really helpful to really buff up your character and make you really strong. It is not possible to block in the game. You must rely on abilities that absorb damage, and buffs, passives, and abilities that reduce incoming damage. Dodging is also not actively possible, but it can be done with the elusive ability if you are using the Shadow archetype. Interrupted and crowd control are both possible depending on your skill selection. A number of skills are capable of interrupting casting enemies, and most crowd control consists of slows and snares. But some stun abilities do exist. Having access to these is important for dealing with packs of enemies and giving yourself some nice range and distance in getting away from them if needed. Looting in the game is automatic, so you don't need to do anything. Everything you loot will automatically go into your inventory. When a player dies in the game, the death penalty is experience debt. You'll lose a certain amount of experience and you will have to earn it back before you can earn any more new experience. You can also pay silver to clear this debt, and this comes into effect from level 20. To access your quest menu, you need to press L And quests can be found all over Ravendawn. They're a real crucial part of progressing through the game, both for the rewards gained but also the experience. Some quests are level locked, so you will need a certain legacy level to be able to do them. To find a quest, you will need to look on your world map by pressing M. You then need to search for the orange exclamation points by zooming into different areas. So as I can see here, I've zoomed in here. This signals a currently available quest for my level. You cannot interact with all NPCs in the game, but those that you can have usually got a symbol next to their name, and all you need to do is walk up to them and press F to communicate. There are banks in Ravendawn. You need to look for the bank icon on your map, the chest icon, and then you just go to the monk keeper and you are able to manage your bank storage. To move items, you'll need to press I to open your inventory, and then you can drag items between your different inventories. It can be difficult to find certain NPCs that sell certain goods, but you do have to walk around, and then you can just ask NPCs to look at their shop. This NPC randomly standing here selling food, and you can always guarantee that if you go to a tavern, there'll be an NPC selling drinks. To start a quest, you need to speak to an NPC and follow the dialogue options, and you'll be then sent to do a quest or a mission. So we've got a few top tips for challenging quests in this game, especially early quests. And my first one is Jensen's Key. Jensen's Key is one of the most difficult quests. For some people that are newer to the game, they cannot find the key. You simply have to go to this bush next to the statue that you've just been to. When you press on the bush, you will get access to the key. Another one of my top tips is for players trying to find Captain Krugg. This one is a bit challenging because there are many problems in regards to navigation in this game, because when it highlights an area that it wants you to go to, it doesn't always identify on what level or floor this NPC might be. To get to Captain Krugg, you need to go to this area here, and then you need to go to the south until you find a little hole in the wall that doesn't become visible until you're right next to it. When you walk through this and you go up and around the entire area, the whole circumference of the area, above this ground level, you walk all the way around, and that takes you to Captain Krugg, which is the boss that you need to kill to progress this quest. There are a lot of different quests that are difficult. If you are having any trouble, feel free to jump into either of my Discords. We've got Circulus, which is my MMORPG community, or the Tank Club, which is a tank help channel. Both of the links for those Discords are in the description below. And if you do struggle on any quests, you're not sure where to go or what to do, come in there and ask us, and we'll be more than happy to help you figure it out. When completing quests, you do have to pay close attention to where a quest is sending you, because the quest icons show you a location. It may be underground, it may be on higher ground, you may have to go through a tunnel. It's not often as straightforward as it looks. You need to read the journal information. Try not to rush spamming through quests as well when you're handing them in. Some of them will give you options of dialogue options, or also they'll give you options on what gear you want to select. It might be a weapon or different armor pieces, especially early on, sort of level 18 and below, where you start to build up your armor in the game. Don't rush it, because then you might skip and end up with the wrong gear. Once you've completed the task, head back to the NPC and hand in to claim the reward. Next, we're looking at the Rangers Company quests, and this becomes available at level 15, and you must complete the introductory quest, and then you have access to the Rangers Company mission boards. These are scattered all over the world, and you'll be given region-based tasks to complete. When you complete missions, you'll gain prestige points, which improve your rank within the company. And you also earn bounty marks, which can be used to buy items from the company. The last type of quest we've got are North Star quests, and these are automatic, objective-based quests that guide you through the game. You'll be asked to reach certain level goals, for example, which then reward you once you achieve them. You'll earn land deeds via these objectives, so it's worth paying attention to them and clicking on them once you reach the goal, because getting your land deed is important, because then you're able to purchase land and build your own house and farm. One of my favourite things about the game is the dynamic world events. These will start at random times in different areas of the world, and you'll have to work with other players to complete the event. Even if you are above or below the suggested level for an event, you just need to press the green arrow to scale with the event so that you can earn rewards. On the event tracker, the green bar is your contribution to the event, and the purple is the contribution of all players in total. In the game, there is a thing called artifacts. These are collectible, and you can only obtain them by completing story quests, events, exploration, NPC interactions, and rare creature drops. You find them in the journal menu by pressing J, and the value of collecting these is that you'll unlock a range of benefits, such as exclusive docks, shops, respawn shrines, workshops and NPC interactions, along with secret dungeons and hidden locations. Travel and transport. Now, traveling around Ravendawn can be done in a range of ways. One method is using waypoints to fast travel. You need to press on a waypoint and then you can travel to another discovered waypoint. On your minimap, you can also travel to your most recently visited city, but it does come with a very long 4-hour cooldown. Mounts in Ravendawn. The only mount in Ravendawn are Moas. These are obtained via the Immortal Enemies quest that you'll get early into the game. You can only have one active mount at a time, and they cannot be used in combat. You're able to breed Moas to gain rare and higher tiered mounts. You can equip your Moa with equipment, and it will also have useful abilities and various beneficial stats such as strength and speed. With your Moa mount, you are able to purchase additional equipment if you come to Ravencrest, and you really need to leave at the south end of the city. When you speak to this NPC here, you're able to buy new equipment as long as you've got the pieces to do so. One of the popular questions that will get asked as well is how to feed your mount, and you will need to look for this NPC again at the very south end of Ravencrest. When you speak to this NPC, they will sell you different foods. These are very expensive, however, and I would not recommend players just starting the game to buy these to feed the mounts. It's not something that is essential. You do not need to feed your mount. It's something that you will definitely want to do later into the game, but at the start, spending 1,000 gold on a ration is just not worth it. They don't last very long. They will go very quickly for very little benefit. The reason for the mount food is while your mount is well fed, you will gain experience with your mount. As your level increases with your mount, you will get additional benefits, as you can see. This bar here is your feed bar, so you can get up to 8,000 as a maximum, but it does deteriorate very, very quickly. So, as I said, I don't think it's worth doing at the very start. With mounts, you can breed a mount, and that can be identified by the breeding limit, so this mount can only be bred a maximum of 4 times, by which point you cannot breed this anymore. Another method of transport are wagons, and these are used to transport multiple trade packs around Ravendawn. And you need to do this to take them to different trade posts, which will earn you silver. You will obtain wagon parts early in the game by completing quests. You then go to the wagon crafter NPC in Ravencrest near the docks and create your first wagon. Your wagon has a certain amount of health and can be used to carry a limited number of trade packs. Ships are also another type of transport in this game, and you can build and customize your very own ship. This is useful for carrying trade packs as well, and could also be used for exploring new areas, ocean fishing, and also naval combat. The main method of interacting with other players in Ravendawn is via the chat bars over at the side, the general chat, and especially your specific language chat. And you're able to talk and communicate with other players via those chats. To interact with players, you need to press enter, access your social menu, and this will allow you to add friends. You just type in their name and your request will be set there as well. To invite people to a party or to direct message them, as you can see, you've got the direct message button there. You can start a party by creating a party and inviting people in. There is also an icon on the friends list next to your friends to just invite them to the party. Another big part for Ravendawn is guilds, and these are player created guilds where you can form. You're able to form guilds with other players. You can create a guild. You need level 20 and 100,000 silver, as well as a patron account, and then you can create your very own guild. You can also join a different guild, somebody else's guild if you want to, and player guilds hold a lot of benefits in terms of making friends, finding people to group up with, and all that kind of usual stuff that you'll find in an MMO game. One thing that many people struggle with in Ravendawn is buying and selling from NPCs and shops. Some junk items can be sold for silver. One of the main places that you'll find this is in the main city of Ravencrest, next to where the slums is, next to the entrance to the slums, you have this NPC. When you interact with this NPC and look at their shop, this is items to sell. This is not stuff you're buying, and you're able to sell all of these creature products and items, all of this junk basically, to the NPC. These items do not have a current function and they're just for selling. If you have items that you would like to sell to other players, you need to come to the Monk Broker. Again, you can find this in Ravencrest, and when you interact with this NPC, you can look at the marketplace. Now on the market, you're able to look at items that are being sold by yourself and other players, or you're able to go onto My Orders. Now when you're on My Orders, you can create your own order, and to put an item in here, you need to press I. to access your inventory, and then you're able to pick an item and drag it into the space available. Once you've done that, you then need to decide on a price. And before you do that, you might want to select the prices that other players are selling them for. So if you press the arrow up there, that will show you the lowest price currently that these items are being sold. It's worth looking around some of the NPCs as well to find out how much they sell some items for. Baked potatoes, for example, can be bought for 50 silver from an NPC already, so you're not going to sell them. But the cheapest one is currently 30 gold, so you might want to match that or go slightly lower. Once you've got your price, place your sell offer, and this will go onto the market. Trade packs are a great way in the game to gain additional silver. You can look at trade packs by pressing T on your keyboard, which will bring up a list of all the different trade packs. You're then able to look through and see what ingredients are needed to fulfill that trade pack. Once you have the items, you need to go to the monk merchant and talk to them and request to craft a trade pack. You then press on it and craft the trade pack that you want to make, and you will now have a visible icon next to your character's name that shows you are carrying a trade pack. You cannot sell that trade pack back to the same merchant. You will have to find a different trade pack merchant on the map, and you will have to take that trade pack to the merchant to sell it. Now, when you have a trade pack, you do become accessible for being killed. If you die while carrying a trade pack, you will drop it. So it's very important that you're aware of this. Now, if you want to carry more than one trade pack, you do need to have your wagon on your ship available. And when you look at your trade pack menu, you can look at your trade pack bag, and this will show the current trade packs that are being carried. So as you can see, the user is only able to carry one. If you have a wagon, you can carry an additional one. Your wagon will be able to carry more depending on how upgraded your wagon is, and the same as well for your ship. So this is not something that will be for everybody, because it is a good way to gain silver, but it is a risk because you will be accessible to other players to be killed and for your trade pack to be taken. Next, we're going to look at professions, and you find the menu by pressing P on your keyboard. And Ravendawn has a range of useful professions, including fishing, carpentry, weaving, cooking, breeding, mining, woodcutting, farming, blacksmithing, and husbandry. Now, the crafting skill lines are carpentry, weaving, cooking, blacksmithing, and breeding. Weaving allows you to create cloth and leather gear. Blacksmithing allows for the creation of weapons and plate armor. Carpentry is used for crafting furniture and weapons. And cooking is used for making different meals, buff foods, buff drinks. And for breeding, this allows you to breed Moa Mounts. Finding materials can be found all over the world. One place you'll find early materials is on your community farm. But when exploring the world, you'll find ore, trees, or you can go fishing, and this will allow you to gather resources that can be used for your various different crafts. When you've collected some raw materials, you'll need to refine those, and you'll need to go to a station. These are usually blue on your map. These are where you can craft things, and I'm currently at the weaving station. You press F to interact, and then you're able to see the current materials that you are carrying. I've currently got some hide in my inventory. As you can see here, I require 2 hide to make 1 piece of coarse leather. When you press craft item, you will notice that your skill bar has now changed. And to craft this item, you will now need to press the 1 skill. What this does is each time you craft, it will use some labor, but also remove some durability, but it will increase your progress. So if you press 1, now this cost some labor, and we managed to do that no problem. And you're able to do this, and you have to do it individually, one by one, and you can unlock mass crafting as you reach a high level in the craft. When you want to craft an item, it's exactly the same. So you'll need the materials. We're going to craft some food here. So when you've got your raw materials, it applies the same way to crafting items. So you will need to select the item that you have the materials for. You will then have to use the 1 skill to craft the item. Every time you press the 1 skill, it will increase the progress, but it will reduce the durability of the ingredients that you're using and reduce your labor as well. When you're crafting in the early game, it's a pretty much guaranteed chance to craft the item. I've never failed, but later on, crafting does become more difficult. So deconstructing items is possible. You will need to find a certain NPC. This one isn't even on the map, but Selena here, when we speak to Selena, she will allow you to break down gear and turn it into Dawn Essence. In this situation here, I don't have any gear that will be capable of being broken down, but this is a way to break gear down. Infusions are items that you will loot very, very often, and they're dropped by enemies in the game. You can use these along with silver by pressing U on your keyboard to access the Infusions menu. This will improve your gear, and the way you want to do this is you choose an item that is here. You need to hold left click and drag it into the item section. You will then have your Infusions, which you need to pick up and drag to the slot. Then it will show you how much silver it's going to cost and the amount of XP you're going to gain. So you can see a little XP bar underneath your weapon. If we put our cloth boots there, we are going to get this increased from a common level basic value up to a blue value. So it will cost us 640, but we'll gain that. If you want to split the stack so you don't use them all in one go, you just need to go onto your inventory by pressing I. You then drag the object and just choose how many you want to split it into. So we're going to split it into 4. Now if we go back, we've got a stack of 4, so we can put the slot of 4 in there with our boots, and now it's not going to use up as much. All you do is press infuse, and then that has increased these to now a green quality instead of being the basic quality that they were before. Enchantments are another thing you'll find later into the game. These are powerful runes that will improve your gear and weapons, and they can be exchanged with certain NPCs. Only one enchantment can be used per piece of equipment, and you could not remove enchantments, but you can replace them by using another enchantment on a piece of gear that already has one. And runes have different types and tiers as well. My next top tip is about your community land. This is an area that everybody has access to, but only you have access to your own one. But everybody can go to the same place to begin learning some farming and gathering crops and different things. This is found on your map in RavenQuest by looking for this brown area here where you can see the field. When you go down, the community farm is a great place where you can do farming and husbandry and start to gather stuff. It's in the right side of the city. You just got to look for that brown square of land. Now, when you want to plant things in Ravendawn, you will need to access your housing mode, and this is found just at the side of your mini-map. When you click this, it gives you access to edit the area that you're currently in. In this case, we're at the community farm, but we can't do anything because we've already got crops there. When you're in this menu, obviously you've got rooms and decorating, which isn't possible in this particular area, but when you buy your own land, you will be able to decorate and have rooms there as well. When we look into farming, farming provides a range of potential resources that can be used for crafting. For example, you can practice husbandry and use the meat gained from that to produce meals and improve your cooking profession. Farming allows you to grow crops, plants, and trees. You're also able to breed animals, and these all have different timers. You'll have to plant things and place them into your farm. You can water and feed them as well sometimes, and then you return when they are fully grown so you can harvest them. To harvest, you just need to press F to interact, and then you need to press F1 or click on the item that you want to get. You'll then get a mini game that appears where you have to try and stop it in the green item, and that will just speed up how quickly you will farm the product. It will not do anything to diminish the product that you've just looted. To complete farming tasks, you will need effort points, and you'll earn these by killing enemies and completing quests. These can then be used for farming. For every 100 XP you earn, you will gain 1 effort point. Building your own estate in the open world of Ravendawn is an interesting feature in the game. You can find available land on your map by turning on the housing viewer and searching for the estate type that you're interested in. Estates can be small, medium or large and come with a hefty fee to buy the land. It costs 10k to buy a small piece of land, 500k for medium and 5 million for large. You'll need a land deed to claim an estate, and you gain these from doing the North Star quest accomplishments. The first land deed will be a small land deed that you gain at level 25. You'll need level 50 and level 70 to buy the others. Once you buy land, you'll have to pay silver and a weekly tax to keep your estate, and you're able to plant crops, trees, breed animals, and place a house on your land. Trophies are very rare items looted from enemies, which can be placed in your house, and these will provide you with additional buffs to your character's stats. So these are very, very useful. Content you can expect to see in Ravendawn includes PvE content. You have the open world exploration, housing and managing land, questing and missions, gathering and crafting. You've got character building and different builds you can play with, the Tradepack system and trading with other players, hunting enemies and bosses, and in the future we may see a dungeon system as mentioned in my interview with the Ravendawn devs previously. Ravendawn does fulfill the holy trinity roles of tank, healer and damage dealer. The usefulness of this is still yet to be seen, but in hard, high level zones you should begin to see a benefit of players using a protection archetype to tank, someone using holy for healing, along with other players spec'd for damage, debuffing and support. PvP content in the game requires level 20, you'll then be able to participate and join the PvP channel. You can fight other players in conflict zones and in the sea using your ships. You can also attack players carrying Tradepacks to try and steal them by killing them. There is an infamy system in place that punishes players for attacking innocent players. You'll gain infamy points and be locked out of peaceful zones for attacking or killing players. These lockouts can last from anywhere between 3 and 20 minutes depending on severity, and the more infamy you accrue, the bigger the punishment you'll receive if you die, with experience losses of 50 to 250% depending on how bad you've been, and you can lose infamy points by killing other players who've killed innocent players. One other big function in the game is the political system, which allows players with silver and community backing to become a lord. Once becoming a lord, you'll be able to choose which active royal decrees there are and dictate the laws of Ravendawn. Something that's going to be interesting to see, but something that could definitely be potent to abuse. So that is everything for this Ravendawn beginner's guide. If you've got any questions about the game, please ask me in the comments below and we'll try and help you out. If not, you could always join one of our Discords, either the Tank Club or Circulus, with the links in the description below. Thank you to everyone who supports the Tank Club and keep us funded. That is very much appreciated. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.